The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6. Tommi Mäkinen edition from 1999 isn't just another performance car. It's the razor-edged proof that a rally dynasty can be distilled into a road-going legend, born out of 4 consecutive world championships and engineered as a tribute to one man's dominance. It represented the moment when Mitsubishi wasn't just competing in motorsport, but redefining what enthusiasts could expect from a showroom car. Every inch of it whispered rally pedigree. From the quicker steering rack to the factory-tuned suspension that mirrored the geometry of gravel stages, yet its real power was cultural. Because here was a machine that blurred the line between daily drive and championship podium, and owning one wasn't just about speed. It was about carrying a torch for a golden era of rally itself. This is the story of how the Tommi Mäkinen edition emerged from a marketing opportunity into a genuine engineering milestone, how it captivated drivers across continents, and why it remains one of the most sought-after evolutions to this day. So let's dive into its origins, its impact, and its enduring legacy that still electrifies the automotive world. If you enjoy this deep dive, tap like, hit subscribe, and tell me in the comments which icon you want us to explore next. When we talk about the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6 in Tommi Mäkinen edition, we begin with a car that wasn't just a marketing nod, but the culmination of a championship streak. This was the 6th generation Evolution tuned to honor a driver who had become synonymous with victory itself. To appreciate why this car mattered, you have to understand how the late 1990s shaped Mitsubishi's ambitions and how rallying was more than just a sport. It was a proving ground that bled directly into the engineering of cars like this. Enthusiasts often say the Tommi Mäkinen edition captured lightning in a bottle, and that's the heart of this story. The first thread lies in motorsport dominance. Mäkinen had strung together 4 consecutive World Rally Championship titles from 1996 to 1999, a streak that forced Mitsubishi to consider how to package that success into something tangible for customers. Micro story: the celebration of a champion. Imagine a driver who consistently beat rivals across snow, gravel, and tarmac. By 1999, Tommi Mäkinen had built not just wins but an aura of inevitability around himself. Mitsubishi seized the chance to immortalize that era with a road car, and the decision was bold. This wouldn't be a simple decal pack or cosmetic gesture, but a machine that carried the spirit of the WRC. Context digest. Why rally mattered then? In the 1990s, rallying was the crucible where manufacturers earned global respect. It wasn't about top speed on straightaways, but about surviving brutal conditions while still winning stages. For Mitsubishi, success in this arena directly translated into credibility among enthusiasts who wanted a car that could tackle real-world roads with the same confidence. Micro story: engineering that mirrors rally stages. The Tommi Mäkinen edition had a steering rack that was faster than the standard Evolution 6, giving drivers sharper response in hairpins and switchbacks. The suspension sat lower, the dampers tuned for agility, and even the turbo system recalibrated for immediate punch off the line. These weren't tweaks for a spec sheet. They were adjustments echoing what Mäkinen himself demanded from his rally car. Reflection bridge. That's where the line between tribute and tool begins to blur. Context digest. The cultural stakes. Owning a Lancer. Evolution in the late 90s wasn't about luxury or prestige. It was about being part of an underground wave of rally-inspired machines that turned commuter roads into a driver's playground. The Tommi Mäkinen edition, with its iconic red paint and white wheels, was instantly recognizable as the flag-bearer of that culture. Micro story: the legend of the TME livery. The red and white paint scheme wasn't just cosmetic. It mirrored the Works Rally Cars livery that fans had seen tearing through Monte Carlo or Finland. For buyers, it wasn't just about owning a car. It was about parking a slice of rally history in the driveway. Context digest. What it meant for Mitsubishi. At the time, Mitsubishi wasn't a giant in every global market, but the Evolution line gave it an identity of performance, agility, and racing credibility. The Tommi Mäkinen edition cemented that image, ensuring that the brand was associated with motorsport success in a way few rivals could match. Micro story: the driver's seat experience. Sliding into the bolstered Recaro seats embroidered with Tommi Mäkinen's name. A driver felt more than just comfortable, they felt tethered to a championship heritage. Every tactile detail from the short throw shifter to the steering feedback reinforced that this was no ordinary sedan. Reflection bridge. This is where emotion and engineering became inseparable. The Tommi Mäkinen edition represented more than the sum of its parts. It represented a philosophy that performance cars could serve as living trophies of motorsport eras. What made the TME unique wasn't that it existed, but that it was engineered with genuine rally DNA rather than being diluted into a commemorative sticker pack. That's why collectors and drivers still seek it out today, and why its place in Mitsubishi's history feels so irreplaceable. Just as the TME was rooted in dominance on the rally stages, its next chapter unfolded in the way it reshaped perceptions of what a road car could aspire to be, and that's where our story continues. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6 Tommi Mäkinen edition carried its rally-bred upgrades into a broader conversation about what performance meant at the turn of the millennium. This wasn't just a car with cosmetic tweaks. It was a benchmark that raised expectations for every street-going performance sedan. The moment it rolled into showrooms, enthusiasts asked a simple question. Could this really capture the essence of a championship-winning machine, or was it simply chasing an image? That tension is what gave the TME its staying power. Micro story, the marketing versus reality dilemma. Many manufacturers had tried to capitalize on motorsport success by slapping badges on road cars with minimal substance. But the TME took the opposite path. Engineers shortened the steering ratio, adjusted suspension geometry, and ensured that turbo response mirrored the rally car's on-stage urgency. Owners discovered that this was not just branding. It was a real tool for carving through corners with precision. Context Digest, the late 1990s performance scene. In this era, performance sedans were emerging as a battleground. Compact four-doors had to balance practicality with sheer driving thrill, and many buyers were young professionals who wanted a car that fit daily life, but could still thrill on the weekends. The TME embodied that balance, delivering a usable package with motorsport legitimacy baked in. Microstory, everyday rally connection. For a driver commuting to work on weekdays, then hitting back roads on weekends, the Tommi Mäkinen edition offered something rare. It wasn't stripped out or fragile. It carried air conditioning and seats for passengers, yet it whispered rally stage DNA in every steering input. Reflection bridge. That's what made it feel like more than a collectible. It felt like a gateway into a world that had seemed unreachable. Context Digest. How rivals responded. When the TME arrived, competitors noticed. Suddenly, the bar for what counted as a limited edition performance car had shifted. Others would release their own special trims, but none carried the same direct link to a reigning champion who was still actively dominating in competition. Microstory, a champion's shadow on the road. Imagine piloting a TME down a twisting two-lane road, knowing the setup beneath you was tuned in the image of a man winning rallies across snowbanks and gravel pits. The psychological impact alone gave drivers a sense of connection to greatness, and that feeling fueled its desirability. Context Digest, the collector's market in early years. Initially, the TME wasn't viewed as the priceless artifact it is today. In many markets, it was just another iteration of the Evolution 6, selling at a modest premium. But as the years passed and the rally era faded, the TME stood out as the purest reminder of Mitsubishi's golden age. Microstory, owners who never let go. Some early buyers treated their TMEs like any other daily driver, putting tens of thousands of miles on them. Others tucked them away, recognizing the long-term significance. Today, those decisions look monumental, because preserved examples now command astronomical values compared to their original sticker price. Reflection bridge. And that's the power of legacy. What once seemed ordinary can evolve into the ultimate symbol of an era. The TME demonstrated that a manufacturer could deliver a car which straddled two worlds, competition pedigree and everyday drivability, and not compromise either side. The story of this model is not just about engineering detail, but about how it redefined expectations and influenced the trajectory of performance sedans for years to come. As demand grew and its reputation hardened into legend, the final arc of the TME's journey began. The transformation from cult favorite into enduring automotive icon, which leads us to its lasting legacy. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6 Tommi Mäkinen edition reaches its resolution in the way it transformed from a rally-bred special into a cultural touchstone. This was more than just an upgraded sedan from 1999. It became the definitive symbol of Mitsubishi's rally dominance and a lasting reminder of what a factory could achieve when motorsport directly informed the showroom floor. By the time the Evolution line continued into later generations, the TME had already etched its own mythology. Microstory, the halo effect on future Evos. Later evolutions borrowed lessons in steering precision, turbo response, and suspension feel, but none could escape the shadow of the Tommi Mäkinen edition. It was the moment Mitsubishi proved that a commemorative edition could surpass the standard version in more than name, and that standard became the yardstick. Context digest. The auction block reality. 2 decades on, TMEs now trade for multiples of their original price, and pristine examples often trigger bidding wars. What was once accessible to die-hard enthusiasts has shifted into collector territory, changing the way the car is viewed, from driver's tool to investment piece. Microstory, global enthusiasts and local pride. In Europe and Asia, the TME's availability cemented Mitsubishi's reputation among car communities. While in the US, where official imports were limited, the car took on a near-mythical status, whispered about in magazines and forums until import laws made ownership possible. Reflection bridge. That scarcity only fueled desire. Context digest. The ripple through car culture. Beyond sales, the TME inspired generations of tuning and motorsport fans, encouraging people to modify their own cars to chase the balance Mitsubishi had captured. The white wheels and red paint scheme became icons, endlessly replicated but never equaled. Microstory. The personal legend. Owners today often describe their TMEs not just as cars, but as pieces of their identity. The connection to Tommi Mäkinen's championship runs makes the car feel like a personal slice of motorsport history, a link between everyday driving and the roar of rally stages. Reflection bridge. That intimacy between machine and story is what elevates the TME from special edition to legend. The Tommi Mäkinen edition showed that performance cars could carry a narrative, a heritage, and a competitive spirit all in one package. It proved that rally wasn't confined to the dirt or the snowbanks. It could live on the asphalt of daily commutes and weekend back roads. And ultimately, it set a template for how limited-run models could embody the soul of motorsport. Today, when enthusiasts look back, the TME stands not just as the peak of the Evolution 6X, but as the emblem of a time when Mitsubishi owned the rally world and gave that world back to the drivers who loved it most. Its impact is felt not only in collector circles, but in the way it continues to inspire conversations about what makes a car legendary, which brings the story full circle to its enduring significance. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6 Tommi Mäkinen edition tells us more than just the story of a 1999 performance sedan. It gives us a snapshot of what happens when motorsport dominance collides with consumer desire. At its core, this was a car born from victory, a machine engineered not only to celebrate 4 consecutive world championships, but to carry that rally-bred feeling directly onto public roads. For US viewers, the relevance is twofold. On one hand, the TME represented the kind of homologation-style car that enthusiasts here longed for but rarely received. On the other, its scarcity on American soil transformed it into a dream machine that only recently became accessible through import channels. That tension between global availability and local absence elevated its mythical status in car culture across the states. Ownership reality with a TME is nuanced. This isn't a car you daily drive without thought. It demands respect, maintenance, and an understanding of its purpose. Parts can be harder to source, and many examples have lived hard lives in the hands of spirited drivers. But for those who own one, the payoff is immense. It's not just about acceleration or handling, but about sitting behind the wheel of a car that directly channels a champion's spirit. Few performance sedans carry that level of authenticity. Market angle is equally striking. Over the years, TMEs have become blue-chip collectibles, especially in pristine condition. Where once they were affordable toys for rally fans, now they're investments that trade hands for 6 figures. That shift reflects not only the desirability of the model, but also the cultural weight it carries. This isn't nostalgia alone, it's recognition of a car that genuinely reshaped the standards of performance. The legacy is the most important takeaway. Mitsubishi may have moved away from motorsport glory, but the Tommi Mäkinen edition ensures the brand will always be remembered for a golden era where it ruled rally and gave the public a direct taste of that dominance. For American enthusiasts, the car represents the kind of uncompromised connection to motorsport that many wish was still common practice today. The Evolution 6 TME stands as both a time capsule and a blueprint, proof that a manufacturer can celebrate its hero without watering down the product, and evidence that passion, when translated correctly, creates legends. More than 2 decades later, the red paint, white wheels, and sharp responses still stir excitement. And that's the measure of a true icon. Not just remembered, but desired, not just respected, but celebrated. The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 6. Tommi Mäkinen Edition remains a champion's car for the people, and that is a legacy no auction price or collector's market can ever diminish.